Okay, good morning, all. I'm Dwight Keene. I'm chair of the Kansas Corporation Commission. I'm joined this morning by fellow Commissioner Susan Duffy and Commissioner Andrew French. This time I will call the first meeting of the Kansas Corporation Commission on this Thursday, April 28, 2022. Commissioner, the first matters we have for our consideration this morning are 33 items on the consent agenda. At the outset, I will note that I am recusing on items number 3 and 14. I intend to vote in favor of all the other items on the agenda. Having said that, I would turn to each of you. We've had a chance to take a look at the orders on the consent agenda. I would ask you if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I'll begin with Commissioner Duffy.
Good morning, Chair Keene. I have no questions or comments.
Good morning. Very well. Commissioner French.
Good morning. I have no questions about the consent agenda items. I'll move approval of the consent agenda, noting Commissioner Keene's recusal on items 3 and 14.
I second the motion as described.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda as specified by the motion and the second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The consent agenda is approved. We have several noticed items for consideration this morning, the first of which is docket number 21-TMIV-440-SHO. This is in the matter of a general investigation for True Mobility, Inc. to show cause why this commission should not levy sanctions, penalties, and fines for noncompliance with Kansas statutes and commission order. Before us this morning is an order on penalties for failure to comply with KSA 66-2008 subpart A. And our presenter this morning is our general counsel, Brian Fedotin. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, commissioners. On June 10th, 2021, the commission issued a show cause order giving True Mobility 30 days to show cause why it shouldn't be subject to penalties and fines for violating KSA 66-2008A, to comply with its KUSF obligations and to pay outstanding assessment, contributions, and administrative penalties. On April 8th, 2022, staff filed a second report and recommendation recommending that the commission find True non-compliant with the show cause order, find that True owes $4,274.37 of assessment contributions and $13,495.66 in KUSF penalties, and that deny True's request to remit monthly payments and waive or reduce its KUSF penalties, direct the KUSF administrator to stop accruing additional penalties to True, and to give True 45 days to pay its delinquent balance before collections are initiated. True has not responded to that second R&R. This order finds that since True has not complied with KSA 66-2008A, penalties are appropriate under KSA 66-138. True does not contest that it owes $4,274.37 in assessment contributions and $13,495.66 of penalties to the KUSF. Therefore, the commission directs True to pay those amounts within 45 days of this order or face collections. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you for that overview, Brian. Let's see if there are any questions. I'll turn first to Commissioner French.
Thank you, Brian.
You cut out a bit there, Commissioner. Did you say you had no questions? Yeah, the connectivity on your. I couldn't now. Yes.
Okay, I have no questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
We heard you that time. Thank you. Could be my hearing too. Who knows? Very well. Commissioner Duffy, please.
I have no questions, and I
Any
move
questions?
No questions. I move approval of the order as described.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded that we approve the order in this docket. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. The order is approved. Next notice item is docket number 22-EKME-450-TAR. This is in the matter of Evergy, Kansas Metro's submission of an updated transmission delivery charge, or TDC, tariff for a clean and red line versions, TDC filing with the 2021 true up. The order before us acknowledges the effective date of the transmission delivery charge. And once again, our presenter is Brian Fedotin.
Yes, thank you. On March 18th, pursuant to KSA 66-1237, Evergy Metro filed an application to increase its transmission delivery charge rate schedule with an effective date of May 1st. The application requested $43,349,037 in TDC revenue, which represents a $7,872,752 increase from the prior TDC. Residential customers can expect a monthly increase of approximately $1.46 or an annual increase of around $17.52. KSA 66-1237C presumes all transmission-related costs incurred by an electric public utility are prudent. As a result, the Commission has no discretion and must accept Evergy's proposed TDC tariff as filed. Thus, pursuant to KSA 66-1237, the Commission finds Evergy Metro's proposed TDC rates filed March 18th shall become effective May 1st, 2022 on a subject to refund basis while the Commission conducts its review of the TDC. With that, I'm available for questions.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. Let's see if there are any questions. I'll begin first with Commissioner Duffy.
I have no questions or comments. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner French.
No questions. I'll move approval of the order.
Is there a second? Wow. On my screen, Commissioner Duffy is it's a frozen screen here.
Mine too, Chair Keen.
And Commissioner French, Commissioner Duffy, can you hear me?
Yes, I do. Second.
Okay. You're coming irregularly, but your visual is frozen, but I can hear the audio. Commissioner French, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you just fine. I'm
Okay.
getting the same thing with Commissioner Duffy's though.
Okay. We have a motion, I believe, and a second, do we not?
I think I heard a second from Commissioner Duffy.
And she's nodding in the affirmative. I can see her. Yeah.
Commissioner Duffy, your audio is off.
Whoa. I second the motion.
No, there it is.
There we go.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? I feel compelled to offer a couple of comments in this docket. There's no getting around this. This is a rate increase. The size of this transmission delivery charge is really consequential. It's $43 million. As Mr. Bowden indicated, it's over 7.8 million higher than it was last year. By the order that we are considering today, in my opinion, we're acknowledging Evergy's notification to the Commission of its intent to recover these costs. And it's doing so in accordance with Kansas law, specifically KSA 66-1237. Under that law, under Kansas law, beyond the acknowledgement, we don't approve the substance of this rate increase. We do what is in the scheme of what we do a rather perfunctory audit of a very brief nature, but it isn't anything on the order of the review process that would be attended a request for a rate increase. And that's the case because under the law, these costs are conclusively presumed to be prudent in the absence of any commission action. I'm not saying that these costs were imprudently operated. I'm not suggesting that at all. I'm just saying that we have no way to know because we've had no review process whatsoever that is of substance or consequence. So I'm concerned about this. I'm concerned about the size of the increase. I'm not suggesting that Evergy doesn't have the cost to recover and that it's not legitimate. But this is a substantial amount and it will have an impact on ratepayers. That's the sum and substance of my comments. Do either commissioners have any further comments you would care to proffer? Hearing none, I will call the question. All those in favor of our acknowledgement of this order, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. The order is approved. All right. Turn my page here. The next notice item is docket number 22-KGSG-446-TAR. It's in the matter of the application of Kansas Gas Service, the division of One Gas Inc., for the recovery of qualified extraordinary costs and for the issuance of a financing order. Before us this morning is an order granting staff's motion for a procedural schedule. Once again, our presenter is Brian Fedotin. Brian, please.
Yes, thank you. On April 18th, staff filed a motion for procedural schedule, and some of the important dates in the schedule would be a July 27th pre-hearing conference, an evidentiary hearing August 3rd, 4th, and 5th, with a commission order being due September 27th. The proposed schedule is unopposed, and therefore the commission grants that schedule. And due to the ongoing COVID situation, both the pre-hearing and evidentiary hearing are scheduled for Zoom. With that, I'm available for questions.
Thank you for that overview, Brian. Let's see if there are any questions. I'll turn first to Commissioner French.
No questions. Thank you, Brian.
Commissioner Duffy, any questions?
I have no questions and I move approval of the order.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the order in this docket. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner French, did you vote?
Aye. Sorry, couldn't get off mute. I'm an aye.
Okay. We have all ayes on this one. The order is approved. Thank you very much, Brian, for all three of those.
Thank you.
The next item on our noticed agenda is docket number 22-NETE-419-COC. This is in the matter of the application of Next Era Energy Transmission Southwest LLC for its certificate of convenience and necessity to construct transmission facilities in the state of Kansas. Before us is an order on petitions to intervene from Spirit, Occidental, Goodyear, APS, KIC, and Lawrence Paper Company. And our presenter this morning is David Cohen. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Commissioners. On February 28th, 2022, Next Era Transmission Southwest LLC filed an application for a certificate of convenience and necessity requesting to operate as a public utility in Kansas for the purpose of constructing and operating the Wolf Creek to Blackberry transmission project. On March 28th, Spirit Aerosystems, Occidental Chemical Corp., the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, Associated Purchasing Services, the Kansas Industrial Consumers Group filed a petition to intervene. Collectively, we're just going to refer to them as KIC. On April 1st, the Lawrence Paper Company petitioned to intervene and stated that if petition was granted, they would participate through KIC. KIC's stated interest in the docket can be broken down into four main categories. 1, eminent domain, 2, project cost, 3, project necessity, and 4, regionally competitive rates. The cost of this project will be recouped through transmission charges, which make up about 20% of KIC's energy costs. KIC also argues the Commission cannot approve the certificate without a demonstration of necessity and material savings and movement towards regionally competitive rates. On April 4th, NextEra responded stating that KIC had not met the standards for intervention under KSA 77521 because they had not demonstrated that their rights, duties, privileges, immunities, or other legal interests would be substantially affected by the proceeding. Citing a previous commission order, NextEra argues that in proceedings with multiple parties, asserting a speculative or attenuated nexus to the possible impact of a commission decision may impair the prompt and orderly conduct of the proceeding. They claim NextEra's rights are not impaired because they do not own property along the proposed rate and that the rates for the project are set by FERC and not this commission. On April 5th, KIC responded saying the project was not necessary because current transmission system is sufficient, that their members will pay increased rates due to the project, and that because the project will move power out of the Southwest Power Pool into the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator, or MISO, then MISO should pay the costs. There were 2 more responsive filings, but overall, NextEra's position is that KIC has not sufficiently shown an interest in a legal interest in the docket. And KIC reiterates that the 4 factors that they initially listed are still their interests. The order before you determines that KIC has a demonstrated interest in the proceeding. However, the order limits KIC's intervention to representation of its members in their interests. The final paragraph notes that we've had 9 petitions to intervene so far in this docket, and that all the parties should limit their inquiries and arguments to those issues in which they have a direct interest in order to facilitate prompt and orderly conduct of the proceedings. I'm available for questions.
Thank you very much, David. Let's see if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I'll begin first with Commissioner Duffy.
I have no questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner French.
I have no questions or comments. Thank you. I would move approval of the order.
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the order in this matter. Is there any further discussion? I would very briefly offer a couple of thoughts very succinctly. I've been on the commission for just a little over 4 years now. During that time period, I haven't had a concurring or a dissenting opinion along that path. Unfortunately, I believed it was necessary in this order for me to have a concurring and a dissenting opinion. In essence, the opinion concurs with the grant of the intervention to KIC. It dissents with respect to the limitations the order purports to place upon that grant of intervention. Beyond that, I really have no other comments. I have a concurring part and a dissenting part opinion. It speaks for itself. Is there any further discussion? Hearing now, I will call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? As I indicated, I have both a concurring in part and a dissenting in part opinion. It will speak for itself. We have before us a motion's been seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I think, did we already take the vote?
Yeah, we did.
We may have.
Yeah. We did.
My apologies for that. I was just trying to simply explain my part of the vote. The vote has been taken. 2 commissioners voting in favor of the order. The order is approved. Moving on, we have one other really important additional commission matter to take up this morning, and that has to do with the retirement of Renee Stuckey, who has been a key member of the staff of our conservation division for 15 going on 16 years. And it's hard to believe that he's going to give all that up, but I think it's upon us here. Very, very briefly, let me review for all Renee's background, at least insofar as it's been affected by his role within state government. On June 18, 2006, Renee was hired as a geologist assistant. That position was reallocated to an environmental scientist 2 on June 1st, 2008. On June 8th, a lot of these things happen in June. June's kind of your month. You're jumping the gun here a little on us, Renee. On June 8th, 2014, you was promoted to an environmental program administrator supervisor. Let me boil all that bureaucratese down to something that's really consequential. Renee has been responsible for the oversight of our underground injection control activities for a long time. As we've had retirements, he has taken on additional responsibilities, responsible for the production department as well. He has, under the umbrella of all of these responsibilities we have heaped upon him, he's really distinguished himself in every way possible. It's been an honor for me to work with you. I'm going to reserve some of my comments until we have the chance to have others speak first. So in any event, that's pretty much the overview, and that's a succinct one of Renee's background. Let me see if we have any observations by the other commissioners first. Commissioner Duffy.
Thank you, Chair King. Hey, Renee, I'm going to take credit for hiring you. I didn't do it directly, but very quickly, you became a go-to person in the commission under a previous director. You began to really show your value to this organization and to the oil folks out there who depend on you every day for good common sense responses, timely responses. And we benefited from you on both sides of the equation. You are definitely an example of a good public servant. I am proud to have said I worked with you and knew you. You're calm, non-reactive, but really succinct responses on issues. Just kind of set the hallmark, I think, for other folks that have come on since you've been hired. We know there'll be a big gap here when you leave. Not quite sure how we'll fill it, but I want to thank you for all that you have given us over the years. Again, we are the beneficiary of your knowledge and your skill and just your way that you deal with things. So thank you very much, Renee.
Thank you, Commissioner Duffy.
Thank you, Commissioner Duffy. Commissioner French.
Thank you. Renee, I apologize. I'm not on camera, so you can't see me, but I'll be brief. I agree with everything Commissioner Duffy just said. And you and I haven't worked directly together a lot, but I can tell you, I know enough to know how valuable you are to Ryan and everybody within the Conservation Division, and how much losing you is going to be. It's going to be a big hole to fill, both in work product, but also just your personality and demeanor, and that will be sorely missed. So I do want to congratulate you, though, on reaching this milestone, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Commissioner French.
Thank you, Commissioner French. Before I give Ron a chance to take a shot here as well, let me add a few of my comments in a little more detail here. Renee, you and I go back a fair amount of time, probably almost to the outset of your time with the commission. I can remember distinctly my dealings with you from the other side of these desks previously. You were knowledgeable, you were consistently courteous, and always helpful in trying to accomplish the result that was before whatever that task was that was before you, at least as far as it involved me. And I have anecdotal evidence from other people within the industry that they share that bias as well. And I can tell you there's a lot of gratitude out there for the fact that you have been professional and you have been fair in your dealings with the industry, all the while trying to make sure that the best interests of the state were upheld throughout all of your service. All the core missions of the Conservation Division really in some ways kind of came to roost with you, and you had a major role to do with advancing the environmental protection interests of the state. So for all of that, it's been indeed, Renee, a privilege for me to have this professional relationship with you. We have a personal friendship that's going to be ongoing, and it's going to survive the fact that you're going into retirement. But I thank you and join with my fellow commissioners and joining with the observations they have, and thanking you for your service to the state, and wishing you the very best in retirement. Thank you, my friend.
And thank you, Chairman.
Okay, Ryan, if you would, the benefit of your thoughts, we'd appreciate that.
I think you guys pretty much said it all. I don't know if you left anything for me to say. I think yesterday, though, I did get the opportunity to tell Renee all of the wonderful things I thought about him, and there was a small audience there to hear it. So I won't go back over that again today, but I will, Renee, congratulate you on your career, not just with the KCC, but your entire career. You certainly earned retirement. I'm thankful for the opportunity to work with you and to learn both professionally and personally from you. I'm grateful that you had the patience to work with me. I know sometimes that I have a lot of questions, and I might not always see things the same way you do, but you were patient enough to describe them to me in a way that my brain would understand. Most of all, I just want to thank you for your friendship. We always talk about how, much we enjoy working here. And I think what we really mean is we enjoy the people we work with. And it's because of people like you that I like coming to work every day. So I think our challenge now is to take that bar that you've set and continue to keep it there. And even though you won't be here laughing and keeping us going, we'll do our best to maintain what you started. So thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. In reference to patience, actually, I think you maybe get more credit for patience with me than I do patience with you. But I've totally enjoyed our relationship. You've been great to work with, for, or however you say that. I think a lot of the accolades you guys put on me really go more to my staff. I've got a tremendous staff that has just done a great job of making me look good. And you can't ask for a better accomplishment from your staff. So I feel like it's been an honor actually working for the KCC. I spent probably roughly 30 years in industry before I came and spent 15 years here. I've always had respect for the KCC, even before I knew about the KCC. I was born and raised in the old Bosho pool in McPherson County, and was a farm kid. And although I had no idea, like I say, what the KCC was or did or whatever, I just knew we always had spots out in the field that would never grow anything. And there was advantages too. We had the old slush ponds were great for duck hunting, but and then as a kid, actually, I rode around with our neighbor was a pumper, and so in the summertime, I'd ride around with him and just for something to do. And so, I've been with in the oil business, I guess, ever since I was in grade school. I could overhaul a Continental IMSCO engine before I got out of grade school, which isn't a huge accomplishment because they're about twice as simple as your lawnmower engine. But by the same token, it was quite the education. His son actually became a geologist, and his son was like about 10 years older than me, and he kind of had taken me under wing, and he'd take me hunting and fishing, so I always admired him. So I probably have to give them credit for being geologists. But when I got out of school with a geology degree, actually the first, I think about 3 or 4 years, I actually worked as an engineering assistant for Jim Remsburg at Slauson Oil. back in those days, you could actually take the state people out for lunch. And so about once a month, we would take the KCC out, and Jim would take them over to the Wichita Club, and he'd always take me with him. And I know this was before a lot of your guys' time, but I think Chair might remember old Lou Brock and Frank Broadfoot and Dick Carlisle. And they were super people. So, and you know, Jim had me dealing with them, filing intents and all that stuff. So like I say, I've always had respect for KCC. So I felt like it was really kind of an honor to go to work for him. Well, one quick note on Lou Brock, when we'd go to lunch, he was actually an old Green Bay Packer player. And apparently Vince Lombardi was quite the character, because he had great stories about Vince Lombardi. But so every month I would look forward to that lunch with the KCC. Like I say, I thank you all for letting me be here for 15 years. I may have even been kind of weird, because I even kind of enjoyed having hearings in front of you commissioners. I felt like it was kind of a challenge, and so it was something that kind of would break the routine. But so I was obviously always kind of nervous, but by the same token, like I said, I kind of like the adrenaline rush of it. And you know, the opportunity to basically work with the public and operators and stuff, it was probably the thing I enjoyed the most. And even though for some reason I kind of had a reputation of being a Gran Torino, I felt like I got along great with everybody, obviously, as long as they stayed off my lawn. But I don't have words to say how much I have enjoyed these last 15 years. Even though I enjoyed working in industry, I feel like this is probably the best job I ever had in my career. So I thank you all.
Well, thank you very much for that, Renee. I want to do just a little bit of backfilling here very, very, very quickly. I was really remiss in expressing what is my belief, that a great part of the value that you brought to the commission through all of your service and all of its various attributes and all of its various ways was we benefited substantially from the practical experience and the private sector experience that you had coming into the commission. It added a dimension to the leadership that you were able to provide that was really critical in executing on the functions of the commission. Once again, thank you for that. If you have anything further you'd like to say, we'll give you the last word. Hearing none. Thank you again.
I just want to thank you guys again for letting me hanging around for 15 years. It is a great place for an old geologist to be.
Absolutely.
Bravo. Bravo.
All right. Very good. All right. Best of luck to you, Renee.
Thank you.
At this time, commissioners, I don't see that there's anything further on our agenda for us to consider this morning, unless there's something you would care to broach. Which, if there is not, in that event, I would certainly accept or entertain a motion that we adjourn. Is there a motion?
So moved.
So moved. I'll
Second.
second. You got two motions in 2 seconds.
That's right. We can't do better than that. We double down on both of those. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Everyone take care, please.
Congratulations, Renee.
Congratulations. I agree.
Take care, Renee.